At this time, I'll call the meeting of the City Council to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening. We do have a agenda before us. Are there any changes to that agenda? Okay, we'll operate under that agenda. First item then would be to consider the minutes from the April 21st regular council meeting, the April 21st joint hospital and city council meeting, and the April 22nd special meeting. Council does have the minutes of all of those meetings before you. Are there any corrections to note at this time?
No minutes.
Motion by Charlie, seconded by Mike to approve as presented. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, the motion passes. Next items then will be a number of public hearings that we'll have this evening. I'll talk about the procedure that we'll have for the public hearings. Glenn Olson will conduct the public hearings. He's our Director of Public Works, City Engineer, and Interim City Administrator. He will explain each of the projects, and then we'll open up for any public comment. Be sure any questions that are out there about the projects are raised at this time. Then when questions are addressed, then we'll close the hearing, and then we'll take action then on whether or not to go the next step with each of the projects. I would say when we get to the public comment part that because this is aired on cable television, we do need to have any individual in the audience that wants to speak to a project to come up and speak into the microphone and also give your address so it can be recorded in the minutes. So with that, agenda item number 2 is a public hearing on the C Street improvement project. We'll have the public hearing, and then following the public hearing, we'll consider the resolution that will order the improvement and the preparation of the plan specification. So with that, I'll ask Glenn Olson to conduct the public hearing.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This project includes quite a bit of work, including the reconstruction of C Street and the replacement of water and sewer mains. This is Main Street. This is South Saratoga Street. This is the section that we're talking about that's crosshatched in this area. And as you can recall, last year, Mr. Carr did a substantial office park development in this area and attached the water main to the system that the former middle school, or the current middle school has, former high school. The intent of this project then is to replace a very small water main. We would classify it as a water service line in this day and age, but it's a water main along C Street. We're going to replace that with an 8-inch main, and also replace the sanitary sewer line. And if you take a look at page 4 of your report, the third paragraph under the background of the existing conditions, where it shows the 8-inch vitrified clay pipe, and the third line should say 8-inch VCP instead of PVC. It's interesting what they've done with this terminology. VCP is the vitrified clay pipe, which is existing, is in very poor condition, cracked, broken, extensions of services into the line, and PVC is the polyvinyl chloride, what we do replace those with. So that's just a transposing of letters there. The intent of the project also is to widen the street along the section that is about 400 feet. That's a narrower section. We intend to make that one width all the way through. It will be improved to a 10-ton roadway, which is indicative of commercial type traffic. We are also getting ready for the potential for the library site in this location. by extending sanitary sewer services down to this location from this extension of, on C Street. So it would be ready if and when that takes place. It would also provide a looping of the water main system to provide better fire protection for the community in that area. That's essentially the improvements that are planned under the project, and if there are any other comments, we'd certainly take them at this time.
Okay, questions the council has about this project?
When you say we're going to 10 ton, what is it right now?
I would expect, Kim, you can help me out, but generally they were 5-ton roadways that were developed originally. And then they could have been added strength by overlays, but Kim, any idea on this?
At the most, it's probably, with the overlays, maybe 7 now.
So is that additional tonnage assessed to?
No, the additional tonnage is a city participation item. Mike?
The portion that isn't, will not be done, is that the 7 ton then, or the old?
Yes, that's correct. And we didn't feel that that was in poor enough shape to start a total reconstruction of it. The issue with this was, is once you take out the section for the water main, and then you take out the section for the sewer main, you've got this little piece left over on the side, and you don't want to match up to that. And so, both the, there'll also be some stormwater work done at this location. We do take those numbers off of the project cost initially, and then the assessment portion would be a portion of the remainder. So in our special assessment process, the water will pay for 100% of their work, sanitary sewer 50% of theirs, and the assessments will go 50% of the sanitary plus 100% of the service line that goes to the property. The water department, the MMU will be picking up 100% of the water services as well to the curb stop of the property, including the curb stop. So that's all included in the rates that MMU charges now for their service.
Glenn, is there any state aid on this?
There's not. There's not.
That Tager Park office building, that car put in there, that sewer is actually hooked up to Main Street, right?
That's correct. There will be no sanitary sewer assessment for this. Also, their water, they also put in 100% of their own water system.
Okay.
So
So
that
it has
will,
nothing to do with this
No.
project? Okay.
there's nothing to do with the project. We discussed that alternative before he started, and he wanted to start construction of the facility faster than we could accommodate by this process. So he was served off other lines.
Okay, I'll open up for input from any property owners or in the audience. Yes.
I'm Ron Brown, I live at 109 C Street. I have, and I understand that they are going to leave the sidewalk the way it is, they're not changing that.
Kim, I'm not familiar with her address for sidewalk location. It would be our intent to establish sidewalk along.
There is sidewalks there. If it can stay, we'll leave it.
What usually we'd have to take a look at is elevations to make sure that the curb elevations and the sidewalk allow the sidewalk to drain.
After our meeting on Thursday, I have taken a look at it, and I think by your house, it makes a jog in, right?
Right.
We would maybe slide it back so we get a little boulevard area going. At Thursday night, I didn't realize that at the time. That needs to slide back a little bit. The property line is back 3-4 feet from the back of the walk. You can slide it back and get a boulevard in.
Okay, the other thing is that that's what this does, is at this hearing and at the meeting that you had the other night, that's what we want to have you do, is bring us that input as far as sidewalks and what your needs and wants are, and then we develop the plans from this meeting. We kind of tell you what we plan on doing, And then if there's issues with sidewalks, or maybe your curb stop is located right in your driveway or something like that, that we can do something with, that's why we're asking the people to come and give us their information.
Well, and that was another question, because if they straighten and move the curbs back to line up with the one up by the stoplight, the curb is going to be right up next to the sidewalk. And the children walk by there all the time to the middle school, and there's concern for the safety. Plus, when they plow the snow in the wintertime, it's gonna be on the sidewalk.
Our preference would be that the sidewalk be located as far back as possible from the curb line. Now, other things that we have to look at sometimes is when you have huge mature trees and you try to work around those, and in some cases, we can't. So what we like to do is move the sidewalk back as close to the property line, like 1 foot off the property line, if we can. If we can't, we can't. But that's our intent on most of our projects. Any comment on that, Kim, as far as location of hers?
Actually, when we get done, the sidewalk right now on the old railroad property is right on the right-of-way line. So I would assume we would carry it pretty much right down the property line, or as close as we can. The other thing with hers too is she's gonna lose 3 very nice trees that are actually, would be in the street if we left them.
If we do tree removals, we will want to do some tree replacements under this same project. So they won't be as big, of course, but but that is something that's important, is our tree program in the city as well. So we'll be talking with you about those. Another thing we don't promote anymore like we used to is the installation of green ash trees. We have a bug that's not in the state yet, but we are watching out for. It's a green ash problem. So we are recommending replacement of the trees that we take out with other varieties. And we can certainly get together with you about what those other varieties might be. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to ask any questions or speak as part of this public hearing? Any other questions from the council? If not, is there a motion to close the public hearing? Motion by Mike, seconded by Charlie. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. We'll now consider the resolution that would order the improvement, the preparation of the plans for this improvement. You have that resolution before you. Are there any questions?
Make a motion to move the resolution.
Second.
Motion by Charlie, seconded by Larry. Discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion passes. Okay, agenda item number 3 is a public hearing about the Legion Field Improvement Project. Once again, we'll have this, follow the same pattern. We'll have a public hearing on the improvement, and then following that, we'll consider the resolution that would go to the next step in the project. So with that, Glenn Olson once again to conduct this public hearing.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is a real similar project than what we just discussed, except it's significantly longer. We start with really the end of last summer's project with the water main replacement here at Kendall Street intersection with Legion Field Road, and extend that under the railroad track and all the way up to Main Street. It's a very significant project in that the same issues exist. A lot of water main breaks. The project was initiated by commercial municipal utilities because of the extensive water main breaks that have happened. And of course, when those happen, it does a couple of things. It not only is a problem for the water main, but becomes a problem for the street section as well, just due to the damages that occur and the water that is underneath the street during those water main breaks. We also have a significant issue with the sanitary sewer through a portion of the project, and that was involved again with the public informational meeting that was held. Much of the project also is along a portion of property that the city owns for future development. It does not have curb and gutter at this time, and that will be installed once the water and sewer main are replaced as well. So we'll identify locations of curb cuts and extend water and sewer mains into the property, but will not be improving this property at this time. So the same issues exist here, where it is a water service line to each of the residential properties. Those would be replaced if they are in condition that they should be replaced. For instance, if you had a relatively new house and a relatively new curb stop and service line, they would not be replaced. But Marshall Municipal Utilities is responsible for identifying those that need replacing, and it is their responsibility to do that replacement up through and including the curb stop. Sanitary sewer, it's the same as we talked about with the other project. The sanitary sewer would be replaced and a connection made to the existing sanitary sewer. And if the sanitary sewer is not in good condition, would be replaced to the property line at the owner's expense. Now, the owner sometimes wants to then replace it further onto their property all the way up to their house. Let's say you have one of the old Orangeburg type lines, and we will be addressing each of your water and sewer services in the plans, and we can tell you what type of service that you have. And we'll want to talk with each one of the property owners along there, especially if their service line is not either a good, it could be a cast iron line, a good cast iron line, it could be a poor cast iron line that we run into. It could be the Orangeburg that I talked to you about that we would absolutely recommend that you replace, but it is up to you. It's your property, it's your ownership, but it would be replaced within the confines of the right-of-way of the street. Any work that is, let's say, in a driveway that's as a result of the service line coming into that area for replacement would be covered under the water service line replacement. Any more areas than that would be at the property owner's discretion. If you wanted to take out more, for instance, to widen your driveway. We have a lot of people now that say, well, gee, when we built the house, it was a single-car garage, and now we add another stall on, we'd like to widen their driveway. That's just great, it's a good time to do it, but that is at your own expense. You can do that yourself, or you can have our contractor do it at our unit prices on the contract. So those are the kinds of things that we want to talk with any property owner along there during the development of the plans that identify those specific needs of the individual property. And we know there are some. Another thing that we will be doing is establishing or extending sidewalks up to this residential neighborhood. And whether or not we put them on both sides of the street or not, we will at least put them extending into this area. And we would like to extend sidewalks all along this area, but we may do that upon future development as well. Comments on that? That's included in the project for sidewalks? Either Shane? Yeah. Will be. We think it's important as a connection now to this residentially developing area to get down to the parks and school system. And that's been something that's been in our comprehensive plan to do, and in our both our bike and sidewalk plans, is to get some connection to the parks and the schools. Any questions?
Thank you, Glenn. Any questions or input from the council?
Glenn, are you looking at putting sidewalks on what I would call the east side of that at this time, in that agriculture area?
It would be our intent to bring that forward, because it needs to be installed at one time or another. Now, really, we don't have a real need for it along this side, I don't believe, until this area does develop, and it could be put in with a project coming in with streets into the area.
So the only concern I have with that, Glenn, is if we're gonna continue to use that as agricultural land, that could be destructive. But we can look at that.
I agree.
Other input from the council? Any property owners here this evening that would like to speak as part of this public hearing? If not, is there a motion to close the public hearing? Motion by Mike, second by Charlie. Discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. We'll now consider the resolution that would order the improvement and preparation of the plans. Have the resolution before you. Are there questions?
You know, you said that it would be replaced under the railroad. Does that stop the trains or anything for a little bit, or how do you do that?
Usually what happens is you set up on both sides of the railroad tracks and you bore underneath.
Oh, you
We would bore that. And it requires also a casing pipe, so you put a casing pipe through and then you put the mains under. In this case, is that for both or one or?
Just the water.
Just the water at this time. The sanitary sewer goes both directions?
No, it stops at the northwest side of the tracks and flows
Right,
north.
right here, and goes north. So it splits at the tracks.
Entertain a motion for the resolution that it would order the improvement and preparation of plans.
Second.
Motion by Mike, seconded by Jenny. Discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Then item number 4 is the Southview Drive Improvement Project. Once again, yes.
Is there someone here that, at least someone was wondering what these procedures
Oh,
are?
okay. With all of these projects that we have the public improvements on, or public improvement hearings this evening, the next step in the process, including preparation of the plan, bid, determining what the costs are, and then there'll be a hearing on the assessment. You want to just talk about that?
Yes, that's exactly correct. This one just now allows us to come forward with the plans and specifications for the project, which includes a detailed project estimate. We do have an estimate of the construction cost without going through all the lineal footages of everything. Now, when we come forward with the plans and specifications, we'll have individual items shown and the total project cost. And then what we do is we provide that estimate plus 10% contingencies of things that we may or may not know about. And we include that in the total cost. And we divide that out amongst the entities that would pay for it. That's sanitary sewer, the wastewater department. Marshall Municipal Utilities is a large item in these projects. Storm sewer installation. And then in the reconstruction of the streets, the remaining portion, we divide out 50-50 of the remaining portion of the street that's not taken out by one of those other items. Also, we identify individual services like we talked about, sanitary sewer services or maybe a driveway replacement. And we identify all those on a spreadsheet that says what the special assessment would be according to the special assessment policy that we have in effect. And then we give notices to every property owner with that number on it. And that'll take a separate hearing. We have this hearing for what's going to be done and whether, okay, what other things should be done or what things shouldn't be done, like we just talked about. And then we have one on the cost. And they're really separate, but when we come to our informational meetings that we've had over the last couple of weeks, especially in residential areas, we know that those are the two important things. And we kind of separate the two at these hearings, where we talk about both of those things at the informational meetings. So we'll have a separate hearing for the cost and a whole legal procedure for the assessment of dollars and the length of time and the interest rate and those kinds of things. So
And that likely would be held in mid-June.
Yes. It'll be at least 2 more meetings before we would have that hearing.
And then if the projects then would go forward, construction would likely start on all these in July and be concluded by hopefully November.
That's correct. And we'll take a look at those timelines, because some of these projects are a lot larger than others. This last one that we just talked about on Legion Field Road is $900,000 plus. So we'll have to take a look at staging and giving the contractor time to get the projects done. We would like to see, in any projects we initiate for this year, all of the work to get done, including the gravel and the first lift of asphalt. That lets it sit for the winter time, and then we take out maybe some dips that might occur, because that usually happens when you do utility lines, water and sewer, and then put the last coat of asphalt the following year. Sometimes we can get it all done in 1 year, and we do that when we can, but it's not always the case.
Okay. Thanks, Glenn. Agenda item number 4 is Southview Drive Improvement Project. I'll call on Glenn to conduct this public hearing.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This again, it's the same type of project. Again, here's Southview Drive from Country Club Drive to South 4th Street. Okay, that section. And this was brought forward again by Marshall Municipal Utilities because of all the water breaks that have occurred in that neighborhood. And one thing I didn't mention before, when either Marshall Municipal Utilities or the wastewater departments comes to our department and says, we've got a real problem in this area, we always take a look at the other one. So in this case, water was a lot of water breaks. Sanitary sewer, we asked the wastewater department to look at, well, they couldn't even get from one end to the other. It was cracked, broken, protruding taps, not able to clean the line. So water and sewer, again, on this is intended to be replaced just like the other one. We aren't going to make the street all one width all the way down. We're going to keep it the same width that it currently is. There's, there again, a lot of mature trees on both sides. It is part of the state aid system. We are going to be replacing it with a 10-ton design. The residences only get charged for residential street replacement thickness. We also say the same thing with sanitary sewer. Sanitary sewer, we normally require an 8-inch line to be installed. In this case, this line connects to other residential neighborhoods, and a 10-inch line will be installed. The wastewater department will be responsible for all of the additional cost of the upgrade and 50% of cost of the main. So anytime you live in an area, residential neighborhood, that the main has to be bigger because it carries sanitary effluent from other areas in the community, the wastewater department picks up that extra cost so you don't have to pay for that yourself. I think with that, it's a similar project. The same things I talked about with the other ones will be done with water to the curb stop, sewer to the back of the street right of way. And one other comment I should make is any place that we can put in storm drains, the drain tile underneath the curb and gutter, adjacent to the curb and gutter, we do that. We try to take care of most of the water problems that we have, at least within the street section. Those lines are available for you to tap into if you've got, for instance, a drain tile line that goes around your house, or a drain tile line in the backyard that you'd like to connect to. We have that there, and we'll stub that out for you to connect to if you have a line to connect to. So that's important for you to know that, and for anyone that has those water problems or those types of installations, to make sure that we know about them, and we'll make that provision in the project to stub those out for your connection.
Okay, questions from the council? Any questions from the audience? Anyone want to speak about Southview Drive?
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Charlie, seconded by Dan, to close the public hearing. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. We'll now consider the resolution.
Move approval of the resolution.
Second.
Motion by Larry, seconded by Charlie. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Agenda item number 5 is public hearing and on the improvement and consider the resolution on Windstar Street, Trunk Highway 59, Clarice Avenue, Windstar Street, Susan Drive, and Clarice Avenue, Susan, Trunk Highway 53.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is our kind of our master map that we've been using for these major projects. All of these projects involve the state aid system. The two that we're talking about tonight are this section that starts at Trunk Highway 59 to Clarice Avenue on Windstar Street. And the next portions are on Clarice Avenue from Windstar to Susan, and from Susan to Trunk Highway 23. I want to stress a couple of things on the development of these projects. We're moving these all forward together, but they may be delayed or one section may be delayed more than another section. And I'll tell you the reason for that. This is the section that Menards has purchased for development. And they're interested in making sure that they have access from Trunk Highway 59. Their main access is on Boyer Drive. But this is the access on Windstar Street also for this section. This section of Clarice Avenue is also an important item to them, as is this section up to Susan Drive. Now, they're in the process right now of finalizing their plans for the dirt work for this area. And they're going to be constructing the storm sewer pond in this area that really is necessary for the construction of these roadways, because that pond is what this area utilizes for runoff prior to discharge through the system. So we're working with them to make sure that all of that work is done before we would award a contract to do the next step. We don't want someone stumbling over another contractor who maybe the project wasn't awarded yet, okay? So they're in the finalization of this, and that has to, the reason that's taking some time as well is that this wetlands area was just approved for, by all the approving agency that needed to do that, as well as the development of a wetland bank scenario. And that wetland bank was most recently just approved as well from one entity, and we want to make sure that everything is in place before construction occurs on moving dirt. Because the worst thing you can do on those approvals is move dirt before you get the approval. Then all bets are off. So they're very cautious and very prudent in getting all those things done before they start moving dirt on the site. And they do intend on moving dirt so that the next phase of this road work can be done. And that's what we're talking about here tonight, is that section. This next section up here from Susan to 23, there's another issue that we have there. We're working with the adjacent property owner on the acquisition of at least 1 acre of property for the right-of-way. There's 33 feet outside the current city limits by the length of this quarter that needs to be acquired for that purpose. That's where our existing sanitary sewer easement lies, but there's no street easement on it like there is with the rest of the system. So we'll be working with the property owner on the acquisition of that. just so you know, we won't be going forward with any construction until that's all acquired, taken care of. So what this does is authorizes us to proceed with the plans. I think I'll leave it at that. If there's any questions that you might have on what's being done or timing.
Okay, thank you, Glenn. The questions from the council first. Questions from the audience. Anyone want to speak from the audience? Joe?
See, Glenn, if that pond gets full in the bottom down there, where does the overflow go if that thing gets filled up?
Okay, this pond is connected to the Nawakama Pond,
Yeah.
that's connected to the Runnings Pond, that's connected to the Independence Park Pond, that's connected to the next pond down, which would, it keeps going till all of a sudden, at the end it gets to the county ditch system. But this pond is connected here. We also have, we've also included in the review adequate sizing for any other development in the watershed. Okay, there's enough land there in that pond to accommodate other development in the watershed. Whoever does that, of course, would have to pay to go into it, or develop their own with a pond system just like is developed here. But it is sized adequately for other development. And I think what you're talking about too, Joe, is this part. This part is as lower than this. This is tile, and I believe this is tiled as well.
Yeah, that drains good there, but on the other side, how high would that get up, how close would that be to the road?
The road is actually, yeah, the road is actually being built up through that section, and we have an elevation that we can show you as the maximum elevation of the 100-year event. That's what the pond is designed for. So it's a pretty good design, not that it would never flood, but it would sure be a lot better than it is today.
Would it get up to, is it close to the road? I mean, the edge of the pond would be right up to the road?
It's not right up to the road. The actual road then gets built out,
Yeah.
and you can take a look at where the pond elevation would come. And yes, it does come up, but then it drains through a 24-inch pipe, I believe is the pipe size, going out. So it does drain relatively rapidly once it does fill up. Yeah. So it's not like it would sit like a slough in the springtime for 2 months to go away. We do have those available for you to look at too.
Other questions? Now, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
Motion by Mike, second by Larry. Discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. We'll now consider the resolutions. Any questions about the resolution?
Move to approve the resolution.
Motion by Larry, seconded by Mike. Discussion? If not all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. And agenda item number 6. This would be a public hearing again, to consider the annexation by ordinance of the ADM property adjacent to North 7th Street. We'll have a public hearing on this. Following the public hearing, we'll consider the adoption of the ordinance that would allow the annexation. Once again, Glenn.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is a piece of property that was purchased by ADM. They actually purchased all of this property from North 7th Street. This is North 7th Street. The ADM property is right here. The gravel road that goes north here crosses the railroad track, goes up to this township road as well. There's a couple of railroad crossings here. The intent of ADM is to develop this property with a rail siding, extend the rail siding through this property. And to do that, they needed to relocate this roadway. And to relocate the roadway, they needed to own the property and request the annexation and then build this road to this township road. So what they're doing in this scenario is they've purchased the property, they're 100% owner, they're requesting annexation of this property, and separately then they are going through a process of relocating the roadway. So that this crossing would be closed, this crossing would stay. I understand from the county that they're already in the process of working with the railroad and putting gates at that location. Now, that won't be done right away in conjunction with this project, but it is in the process for occurring. And also the elimination of two crossings, I believe, but this is the one that we're talking about. But now coming back to the annexation, this is the request. ADM owns all the property. They're requesting annexation of this piece into the city. We will have to talk with Fairview Township on the tax structure. By state law, we're required to negotiate a tax issue with them. And we had, Dean Champagne usually does a analysis for us for that process. In this case, I think it came out to $8 for the taxes that this would entail. And if it was over a 5-year program in depreciating order like is usually done, it's probably more like $12 or something like that. So rather than take that out over time, we'll talk to Fairview Township of a one-time payment, if that's acceptable to them. Something that we need to work out with them. Any questions, I'd certainly take.
Okay, questions from the council for this public hearing? Anyone in the audience have a question about this? Is there a motion to close the public hearing? Motion by Mike, second by Dan, discussion. If not, all in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. And now, we have the resolution, or the ordinance, excuse me, in front of us that would accomplish the annexation. Are there questions about that ordinance? If not, is there a motion? Motion by Mike, second by Larry to adopt the ordinance for the annexation of this property. Discussion? Not all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. That concludes our public hearings for this evening. We'll move on then to agenda item number 7. This is award of bids for, consider the award of proposals for the Liberty Park project for a walk bridge and the gazebo. Glenn, are you going to take this and then Shane?
I'll start.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Both Shane Waterman and Tom Tolfwick are here to represent the next couple of items we have on the agenda. I think maybe, Shane, if you want to just start the discussion of what these things are that were carryovers from last year's project.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The first item on there is the walk bridge. I believe that's been carried over for 2 construction seasons into this year. The Community Services Department had received some donation funds to construct a walk bridge across the river in Liberty Park, which would be located roughly straight behind the existing band shell. And then would also tie into item B on there, which they're proposing to construct a gazebo in the park also with some donated funds. The gazebo would be 16-foot diameter and be sitting on a concrete pad. So that's a summary of those things. I've assembled proposals, requests from local contractors, and have received bids and brought it to the parallel bidders for these projects. So.
Okay. Thank you, Shane. Questions for Shane? If not, you have the recommendations, so let's take the bridge first. For the walk bridge, for the truss bridge structure, the railing, the abutment structures, and the crane service for the installation. Any questions about that recommendation?
Can we do all these at one on this one, Dennis?
Yes, we should do them all.
Proposals?
Yes.
Questions? If not, is there a motion to award? Motion by Dan, seconded by Charlie. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. And then the next item would be the gazebo. Shane, you also have this? or?
That's all we have on that. We just explained that the same location, same process, funding comes from the same source.
Okay, motion by Dan, is there a second? Seconded by Charlie. Discussion?
Yes, he said, made reference here to 3 proposals were received, and they're recommending the one for $22,582. What was the price associated with the 2 proposals that were not recommended?
I would have to turn that comment over to Tom Profit.
The 2 other proposals were lower, I can't remember what they were, but the park board decided to go with the more expensive one. It was better built, and Shane went through the engineering process of it, and since it was donated money, and they just decided to go with the better one. It was better looking than the other 2, and it was just built better.
Maybe Tom, explain the process. You asked different people to come forward with their own proposal. It was just supposed to be a certain size.
Right.
And then they came in, okay,
We
one
sent-
said a design this way, another one was a complete different design.
Right, they were all 3 different designs. We came up, we sent quote, we asked for quotes on, for 3 different companies for a 16-foot gazebo with steel pillars and powder-coated pillars, steel pillars and a metal roof. And this is what they came back with, and we brought it to the park board, and Barry was there. And we showed them all the 3 designs, and this is the one that they decided to go with.
Do you know what the prices were on the other 2 bids?
I can't remember right offhand, and I don't have it with me. They were cheaper, I will admit that. I don't know how much cheaper. I would say probably $3,000 cheaper, maybe $4,000 cheaper. Since this was all donated money to be used in the park system, they went along with this one.
Other discussion on the motion? If not, I call for a vote on that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Shane, you have a vote? Shane, can you talk about timetable a bit?
Yeah, the walk bridge, right now I'm waiting for the DNR permit to be cleared. We anticipate that'll happen at the latter part of May, so we expect to start building the bridge abutments either the last week of May or the first week of June. When I give that a couple weeks of curing time to gain strength and everything, and coordinate the bridge delivery to the project in about mid-June or so, and then the bridge will be installed the 2nd or 3rd week of June. The gazebo, I'm not sure what timeline that will be on relative to this, but it'll probably follow the bridge installation at some point. So.
Very good, thank you. Okay, we'll move on then to agenda item number 8. This is the Main Street and North 3rd Street sidewalk project. We have a recommendation for supplemental tree plantings. Glenn, do you want to start this, and then Shane or Kim?
I'll start that one too. So this is involved with our Main Street project. If you remember, the Main Street project included, I believe, 33 green ash trees. And last year we change ordered that back to 11, and we took on the process of the other 22 replacement trees. We also, it was the city's responsibility to provide shrubbery, that the plantings that were located in the large planters, all except for The ones that weren't included, Shane, was the Gambler ones. So we've included those plantings with this as well. This all does include, come from the approved amenities budget. And we are putting together an update of the amenities budget as well. We aren't even close to it yet because, for instance, the chamber has got a couple sets of banners yet to order through that amenities budget as well. So that's something we'd be working with the chamber, that committee to get taken care of as well. You can see the amount here. There was a significant difference in the two bids that came forward. As you can see, we will want to take a look at what these bids are to see if there are other locations as well, like in the parking lots, that we could take advantage of some of this pricing. So, but this is the bids, this is what was bid out, and this is what we're bringing forward. Shane, any comments on maybe the specifics? Are you interested in types of trees? No. Okay.
It does tie in with Third Street project as well.
Tom Holter, Mayor of City Council. I'd just like to know, why are we putting green ash on Main Street when we just said 5 minutes ago that the bug was gonna eat them?
Okay, the reason we are is because the MnDOT bid 33 of them to start with, awarded the contract, and if they reduce the contract by any more than that, they would have to pay for them anyway. Okay, so if the reason we're installing them is, yes, if it does come, we'll cut them out and put something else in. But in the meantime, when the board is not in the state yet, we decided that the 11 downtown probably wouldn't kill us. So yes, we kind of wanted to replace them all, but we had to pay for them whether or not we installed them.
And there is a difference in the
Type.
variety here.
I know this, but I've had nurserymen talk to me, and they don't understand, but anyway.
That's the
Thank
reason.
you.
What Glenn's saying is nothing we can do about it.
That's right, unless we want to pay them and not get anything.
Okay, so you have the recommendation. Is there motion by Dan, seconded by Mike, to approve the supplemental tree planting on Main Street and North Third Street project. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Glenn, you had mentioned the chamber. I would at this time want to acknowledge Dan Schenkheim, who is the new chamber executive CEO, is in attendance tonight, so welcome, Dan. We'll move on then to the consent agenda. We have a number of items on the consent agenda. First would be a declaration of the surplus property, that would be bicycles. Second, special vehicle license for Thomas Pickering. Third is the transient merchant license for the Country Stop with the location that will be at the Big Dairy Queen. Fourth is the temporary on-sale beer license for Marshall Baseball Association from May 15, 2008 to September 15, 2008. And then fifth is the bills and the project payments. And then also for information purposes are the building permits that have been previously approved by city staff. So is there any item on the consent agenda that any member of the council wants removed for purposes of separate discussion? If not, is there a motion for the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mike, seconded by Charlie to approve the items on the consent agenda.
I've got a question.
Yes.
Shouldn't Charlie abstain being his brother's the applicant?
Are you financially involved in the applicant's application for?
No, okay.
Okay. Then you don't
I'm
ask.
not involved with my brother.
Sorry about that.
Okay, any other discussion on the motion? If not, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion passes. At this time, I'm going to call for a 5-minute recess. I'll reconvene the meeting. We are on agenda item number 10. And agenda item number 10 is consider applications for the city administrator position. The council did meet in a special session earlier and reviewed applicants. There were 30 applications that were received. We met with our consultant that is working with us on the search process, Sharon Klump from Springstead. And at that time, we narrowed the list of applicants to 6 individuals who will be invited to here for interviews. Those interviews will be held on Tuesday, May 13th. And those 6 individuals will be invited for interviews. Sharon is here with us this evening, and has been attempting to make contact with those individuals in the last hour, and some individuals have been available to visit. Other people have not been available because they're involved in probably meetings similar to our meeting this evening too, so they weren't available to take the call. So Sharon, I don't know if you want to make any comments at this time, but the candidates that will be invited in are Brian Beeman, who is currently the city administrator in the city of Melrose. I'm giving these in alphabetical order. Douglas Gerber from the city of Beloit, Kansas, the city administrator. Scott Huizinga from the city of Kansas, he's a project controls manager. Ben Martig, who is city administrator of the city of Blue Earth, Minnesota. Ronald Morse, who is currently the city, or has served as city administrator of the city of Orono, Minnesota. And Robert Wolfington, who is currently the city administrator for the city of Benson, Minnesota. So those are the 6 finalists. I have provided also the members of the media with the names and the summary information. Any other comments you want to make at this time, Sharon?
No, I can answer any questions if people have questions, but otherwise.
Any member of the council have questions for Sharon? I would just say, thank you for your assistance to this point. I think we're pleased that this position has attracted the quality and number of candidates that we've received. So, thank you very much. Okay, if there isn't any questions, we'll move on then to agenda item number 11. This will be considered calling for a public hearing to request the movement of dwellings into a resident district. Locations would be 604 Heritage Place and 610 Heritage Place. Again, the action here is to call for the hearing on this request. Glenn, do you have any comments?
Yes, just a couple, and this is not the hearing, this is just the introduction, like you said. These are the 2 locations of Jacqueline's Addition. North 7th Street is over here, 604 and 610. And there's a picture of the one that would be coming from Woodstock, Minnesota. These have been inspected already and found to be compliant with our code. And this is a picture of the other one from Curry. Just FYI at this point in time.
Okay. Is there a motion to call for the public hearing?
Second.
Motion by Mike, second by Charlie. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Agenda item number 12. Consider the revisions to the resolution approving specific fees to be charged by the city of Marshall. And the specific fees that we're talking about are cat licensing and the dangerous animal fee. Glenn.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. You can see that this is now a different resolution number. The amendments are shown as vertical lines in the left-hand column, and the changes have been made on the right-hand side. Any questions? By approval of these, they go into effect immediately, correct, Tom? There's no hearing on these?
We haven't had any license or here yet.
No.
Whenever we get the license.
And no ordinance change. Oh, yes, the ordinance has to be published as well before the resolution would go into effect. Yes.
Okay, questions? If not, is there a motion to adopt these fees?
So moved.
Motion by Dan, second by Mike. Discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion passes. Agenda item number 13 is the Shepherd Street Improvement Project. The action here is to consider the resolution receiving the report and ordering the public hearing on the improvement. Glenn?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We talked about this project at one of our previous meetings. This is the project area of the Shepherd from Southview Drive to James Avenue. This is Saratoga Street. So it's this block, just one block west, I call it, of Southview, of Saratoga Street. And we've also met with the property owners already on this project as well, for what we intend to propose for this project. So I think that's all I need to say at this point in time, and requesting and calling for the hearing.
Okay. Any questions for Glenn? Is there a motion to call for the hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Charlie, second by Mike. Discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Agenda item number 14, Club 59 edition improvement project. Once again, similar action as to the previous item. Consider the resolution receiving the report and ordering the public hearing on the improvement. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. This is Trunk Highway 59 going south, Canoga Park Drive here, and this is the proposed Midstar Street extension. This project includes sanitary sewer installation shown in green and water main installation shown in blue. And the intent of this project is connect to the water main improvement that will be installed under Windstar Street. So the projects do overlap. This project will probably stop about at this location, and then Windstar Street would take care of this area shown in blue. So we're just developing locations for it, but this is the proposed locations. We'll be working with the property owners on their individual installations. We've already talked to these back property owners about locations so that it didn't interfere with some shrubbery and things like that that they have on their property.
Questions for Glenn?
Is there, what, 11 or 12 parcels?
There's like 15, I believe, in all, but we're serving those that are immediately adjacent to a line that's necessary to install because of specific petitions for improvements by individual properties. Let's say this person requested the installation, well, you have to get the line to them, then it's available for the other ones. So in the process, we will establish a rate that we'll have to charge these people for their assessments. And we'll go through that process. And I believe most of them will opt to connect when we go by. In those cases where they do not, there may be a discussion of deferred assessments. That's a process that we like to skirt a little bit because it takes a lot of monitoring down the road. And so we'll try to get everybody on board as quickly as possible with where these are being installed. Existing residential development that each has a little bit different need.
Other questions? If not, is there a motion for the resolution receiving the report and calling for the public hearing?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Larry, seconded by Dan. Discussion? Not all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. The agenda item number 15, Councilmember Commissioner Board Liaison Reports. The EDA has not met since our last meeting. Will meet next week, and the Regional Development Commission meets this Thursday in Ivanhoe. Mike?
I asked none of them might have met, but the airport symposium was held last week at Ramada, the old Thunderbird in the Twin Cities, and we had probably the biggest contingency of airport commission members there. Two of the newer appointees were very impressed and certainly felt they got a lot out of the seminar. And it was a
Excellent.
That's it.
Okay. Larry
None of mine have met since our last meeting.
and Jenny?
Human Rights met last Monday, and they wanted me to bring something forward. They are in the process of putting together brochures, and it says specifically within their budget, they can only spend $100 on brochures. Well, they want to spend around $300, but according to what they have found out, they have money to cover that. It's just that they need council approval to kind of move their monies around, move some monies out of general fund to, this is what they were told when they came forward with the bill in August of last year, that they wanted to get these printed.
Tom,
Do you remember any of this?
No. If they have money within their budget.
Yeah.
In the 200 to 300 area, which is their supplies and other operating expenses, if they have $500,
Yeah, they do.
they can,
It's
they
just sitting there.
spend it wherever, and just
Okay.
as long as they don't go over within that total
All
category.
right. Well, in August, they were told otherwise, but I'll let them know that we're going to let them.
Okay, and then, is there a specific person Tom maybe should follow up with? Like, is it the chairperson, or is it?
Well, Ajit is the chair, and then Linda Bond is the secretary. Yeah.
Who would you like to speak to?
Probably Linda. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, thank you. Anything, Jenny?
That's it. Thank you.
Mike?
Neither of mine have met since last meeting.
Dan?
None of them.
And Charlie?
No.
Okay, let's move on to council member individual items. Jenny?
No.
Larry?
I have not.
Charlie? Dan? Mike?
None.
And Mike?
No.
Okay, I do have one thing. We have, and I'm sure everyone has noticed, there's advertisements for boards and commissions, and there's a number of openings. And in looking at calendars, and Kathy had done contacted each of the council members, and it appears that the only 2 days remaining this month that council members don't have conflicts are the 28th and the 29th of May. That's not open?
So what's 2 days?
Well, I stand corrected. Those,
I told her those were tentative 20th through 30th, but it's final now. I'm not
Okay.
ready here.
okay. We will need to find a time to meet, to interview candidates for boards and commissions, and it's not going to be possible to do that at a time, with everybody here, so.
I can make it work. Both would like to make it work.
28th or 29th?
Both, either work. Whichever one said, I don't can't make that.
Listen tentatively, you okay with that? Let's tentatively look at those 2 days now. And it quite honestly will take 2 nights because there's a number of applicants, well, a number of boards and commissions.
When do they close? Are they closed?
Some have closed, and there's several where there has been none or limited applicants, so it's been extended for another 2 weeks.
Was that the one that was just in the paper
Just in
on Saturday?
Right. Okay, so we'll tentatively, Glenn, if you would mind, remind me to pass that along. Okay. Then, agenda item number 17, review of pending agenda items. Any questions on the pending agenda items? If not, is there anything further to come forward from the council? Glenn, do you have anything?
We're working hard on the airport zoning board. It is a very arduous process in identifying exactly how that process should go. But I think we've got it pretty close now, so we're ready to meet on that. Also, between Dennis and I got a couple items to bring to the personnel committee. and if that committee could identify some timeframes you might be available.
Okay. Tom, do you have?
Question, what's going on with the Memorial Park?
That has to wait now until the water goes down. There's the river does get used by northern pike in the springtime in certain areas along the river through town where there's certain rushes. And I don't know, maybe there's 2 or 3 in the whole city, but we have to wait till that goes down, and I appreciate that.
What's with the different colored rock from one end versus the other?
Well, the one was done under a previous project, and then they started the riprap with one source, and then we ran into an issue of turning down that supply source, so we had to go to a different source. And the important thing to us, it certainly looks too, but it's the size of the rock that's required. We want to make sure that that's all the right size before he completes the project. And we'll make it look nice in the end.
It won't look like
The
black and
top.
white.
Oh, there might be some differences because of what was hauled in before. We'll take that into account.
Tom, do you have anything? Dan, did you have any comments you wanted to make? Dennis, do you have anything? No. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I would like to ask Dan to come more often because this is as quick as we've got out of here in the last 7 years.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Charlie, seconded by Larry to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?